Welcome to No Office, a podcast about work, technology, and life from a remote company perspective. In Nozbe, we believe that work is not a place to go. It is a thing that you do. That is why since 2007, we run our company 100% remotely. In Nozbe, there is no office. The No Office podcast is sponsored by Nozbe Teams, a to-do app that helps model teams do great things. Go to nozbe.com to learn more.
Don't cram 20 people on Zoom.
Fluorescent lighted office all day long. You probably are going to work from home.
Hello and welcome to episode number 28 of No Office, a podcast about work, technology and life from a remote company perspective. My name is Rafal and as always, I'm joined by CEO and founder of our No Office company, Michael Sliwinski. Hello, Michael. How are you today?
Hey, Rafal. How are you?
Well, very good. I was afraid that I would not be able to record today because we had a very strong wind here in Wrocław, Poland, and I hadn't had electricity in my flat for 2 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah, it came back just like 45 minutes before recording, so hopefully it will stay. I think the wind now is getting calmer, but still very strong. But
don't worry, man. Don't
that,
worry. If the wind hits, you go offline, I'll just be dancing here for the rest of the time and just be here just talking about Apple, and Apple.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is true. We'll talk about Apple because, oh boy, did they unleash some cool stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Unleashed like a pro. The sponsor of this episode of No Office Podcast is not Nozbe Teams, but Apple today.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so we are back in our No Office environment after reunion. And Apple unleashed some cool stuff we were waiting for, especially me, because you probably wouldn't buy new MacBook Pros.
Nope, I have my iPad Pro, and it's far superior than anything Apple announced.
Okay, that's. You have good arguments for this.
We'll talk about it later.
Yes. Okay, so maybe let's start. Yes, this episode will be about us geeking out about new Apple announcements. Let's start. Let me open my notes because I closed them.
But before that, we can unleash some controversy because on one hand, Apple is unleashing like the Pro machines and everything. But what, or better yet, who Apple is not unleashing are the people in Apple's company, because they still insist, and there's still back and forth between Apple employees and Apple leadership, that they should get back to their super beautiful spaceship office with open spaces. And people are pushing back because after the pandemic or during the pandemic, they learned how to work remotely and work together remotely to be able to unleash these devices. So they want to argue that they can still work remotely, but the leadership is pushing back. So we'll see how this goes, because we are counting on Apple's leadership here and not, being stubborn to the old ways.
Yes, please, Tim Cook, have a courage and unleash your employees from the office.
Exactly.
Unleash like a pro, like you did on Monday.
That's
you
correct.
Can do it. All right, so let's go back to the stuff Apple announced on Monday, and they started with some music segment, and really there are new. I thought they were gonna announce HomePod Mini 2 because it looked like this, and they just announced new colors.
Yeah, I think they're happy enough with the HomePod, and they just announced new colors. And unfortunately, they didn't announce a purple color, as you can see from my, the way I'm dressed. I like purple. Nozbe Team's official color is purple, so I was counting on purple HomePods, but nope. But yeah, there are other, blue, yellow, and orange, I think. Colorful HomePods. the voice only music plan, right? And AirPods 3.
Yes, AirPods 3. That's interesting product. I was worried that they were gonna look exactly like AirPods Pro, so will go deeply into your ear, which I don't like. And if there is no active noise cancellation, there is no reason to do that. But fortunately, they didn't go that path. But still, the design change, and I'm wondering how my ear gonna respond to it, because the previous AirPods generation is perfect for my ears, which wasn't always the case with many headphones.
Yeah, my mom's AirPods actually died because my mom got my first AirPods as her AirPods. It was a hand-me-down AirPods, and after like 3 years, the battery life was just completely bad. So like one of her AirPods just charges, but then just goes out completely. So, and they're after warranty, so they are not covered by the warranty anymore. So I said to my mom just to wait a little bit, and we will get her the new AirPods 3. So
yeah, that's interesting, because my AirPods, original AirPods, like it will be 4 years in November for them.
Yeah.
And they are still working. Of course, battery doesn't last as long as in 2017, but it's okayish. And I know that in Poland we have the third-party service that actually can exchange batteries in AirPods.
Really?
But the trick is that they don't. You can send them AirPods, and they will send you back another pair that was refurbished by them.
Okay.
And your pair that you are sending, they will exchange battery and will send to the next customer. And clean them, of course, etc. Yeah, but this is a thing in Poland. I don't know if other countries have it, but yeah, and I will probably use it if I
okay. So when
if I think that
so we can
that
try
battery
this.
is you can try it with your mom's AirPods.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a link right now. I will. Yeah, but we will put it in the show notes. So, yeah.
All right. So these are the like they were like the pre stuff, but the main event was about the Mac. And
yes. But one more thing about AirPods, because they are pushing this audio standards, high quality audio and spatial audio very much, I must say. And I have you experienced this special? Yeah, because you have AirPods Pro.
Exactly.
Can you tell me about it? Because I'm not sold on this.
Okay, so it's really kind of confusing. I remember when I first heard it, because they did like an over-the-air update or firmware update to the AirPods Pro, and you never know when it happens because it just happens, right? So I was wearing my AirPods Pro. I put on some a YouTube video on my iPad, and I turned around. And when I turned around, I was like, "Huh, what did just happen?" Like the sound changed. Like the source was there, and suddenly the source was like when I turned around, it was still there. Like it didn't, like it moved with me, like it moved with my head. So it was really weird, in the very beginning. But now I got used to it. But it's really like kind of funny, because they just want to make sure that you like that the source of the of the truth of the audio is in the same place, because this doesn't change. But because your head changes, like your direction of where you're looking, then the sound also changes. So it's a very interesting trick.
I think it does make sense for video, but if you are listening just an audio, it's kind of pointless.
That's true. So when if you're listening, for example, to a YouTube video, but you're really listening to it, not watching it really, then it's kind of pointless. Yes, because then it just changes. But for podcasts, no, it doesn't make any sense. So because you want to
have you tried
be
it on Apple TV, watching some TV show, or
no, I haven't. I need to try it out. Yeah, that's a good idea actually, because normally like we don't use that, but yeah, actually, and because in Apple TV you can connect directly to the AirPods, so yeah, I'll try it.
Yeah, so try it and report back, and and okay, now we can go to MacBook Pros. So Apple actually in 2016 take away some features from MacBook Pros, and now they give it back. They're giving those features, those ports, back to customers to charge more.
Yes, it's like it's in proper English you would say, Apple taketh, now Apple giveth, right? so they give back, so without let's focus first on the exterior and on the ports and stuff. They really highlighted that the dongles are no longer, like, there is an exodus from dongle gate, from dongle town. The dongles are no longer that necessary as before, because you can use the HDMI directly to connect to projectors and external displays, external television sets, and then you have the SD card slot, and then you don't have old school USB, which is correct, but you have the USB-C Thunderbolt. But the best part is you have MagSafe finally back, which is glorious, because MagSafe was really a great idea, and especially for these kind of machines that they are being used, charged and plugged in, you have to be able to yank it out and not destroy, like not have your $4,000, $5,000 laptop just fly off the desk.
Yeah, that is true, and I think from those ports, there are many things that I'm excited about, because, for example, SD card reader. Like, I export once a month. I had to export photos from my camera to my iPad, and it always drives me crazy that I have to find my dongle to the iPad, because, like, of course, I could buy a SD card reader that is USB-C, but with my camera, I got for free 3 USB-A SD card readers. So I connect this to the dongle, and I insert SD card from my camera. Yeah, and so I do it once a month only. So I don't want to invest more money to buy a better dongle with USB-C. But every time I do it, it drives me crazy.
So but for example, for me, I have this one, dock, like not dock, but like a very kind of dock for the iPad, USB-C, which supports both HDMI and has the card reader and all that stuff. So I have just one thing that I have to carry with me at all times in my backpack. So I do carry it, and it's fine. Something that they missed, though, but of course they couldn't because of the size of the laptops. They didn't put the Ethernet port back. But I was hoping that they would actually include the Ethernet port back in the power brick, just like what they did with the iMac.
Yes,
because I think it was a brilliant move that the Ethernet port goes to the power brick, and then there's one cord that goes to the iMac, and they didn't do it here.
Yeah, but probably you don't want to your Ethernet connection to be that easy to disconnect by accident.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. And second thing, I think like the cord in iMac with this magnetic attachment is much bigger than MagSafe 3 in MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
So maybe it's also a factor. I don't know.
Okay, so one question about the SD card reader again. So why is SD still a thing? I mean, why not micro SD? Because I thought, in most of the things, there is micro SD. Like my drone has micro SD. My new Sony camera has micro SD. Like all the things that I use have micro SD. So why is SD,
I don't know.
the big SD still a thing?
My camera has SD card. Yeah. And actually, my SD card is micro SD inside adapter.
You see?
So, yeah.
Because I thought they would give up by giving us SD card, but they would just, settle on micro SD for say space saving purposes. But no, they went with the full SD.
Yeah. I haven't thought about it, but yeah, actually, that's probably full SD card, or I don't know, more useful. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's kind of you have this new glorious laptop.
It's easier. Micro SD. If you had only micro, it is very easy to get lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and very difficult to operate with your fingers to insert this micro SD card. So maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But anyway, like SD cards and micro SD cards are the thing in photographic and video production. And yeah, that's important for pros. And yeah, they finally listened to customers and build the MacBook Pros really for the people. Not they didn't optimize for thin design like Johnny Ive design.
They're thicker actually. So yeah, they didn't.
Yeah,
think
they are thicker, and I like it. Okay, we have HDMI port. It's only 2.0, not 2.1, because there was not enough bandwidth in the chip for this. But still, it's good enough to connect 4K TV or monitor with 60 Hertz. So
yeah, I mean the HDMI serves only two purposes: to connect to a television set in a hotel room, or to connect to a projector in a conference room. You will not depend on HDMI for your work. You should get a Thunderbolt USB-C connection to your external display. So I think that it's a correct choice. Like that, you only that you don't really need that for professional purposes. The HDMI thing, you need it for casual purposes. I would say.
Yeah, and if you want to connect like 6K display, you use Thunderbolt for this, or DisplayPort,
exactly,
or others standards. So okay, so we have HDMI, and we have they added physical function buttons to the keyboard.
Yeah, there is no touch bar. Touch bar is gone. Rest in peace, touch bar. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think Evelina, who's on the backstage, likes it actually, because she has it on her M1 MacBook Pro. And a friend of mine who also has the M1 MacBook Pro also likes the touch bar. I've never used it personally because I never had a laptop with it. So, I think it was actually a good kind of attempt to do something about it, but they never continued developing it into something really more useful. I just think that they just gave it up after they launched it. So then they just still were pushing it to people, and I think ultimately that more people hated it than loved it. So that's why.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna to love it, but it resulted that I hated it.
Okay.
Yeah, because there were many accidental touches, especially on the escape button, which was very annoying and not productive to working on that machine. And actually I saw the very funny tweet from someone goodbye touch bar, don't let the doors accidentally touch you on the way away. Yeah, so that's and I really like that they removed this touch bar and physical keys are back. But yeah, one last thing about touch bar. I think there was one use case that it was really usable for the new people on the platform. It really it makes onboarding people on the new platform easy, because this contextual thing that it was displaying on the touch bar based on the app you were in. It was easier for new not pro users discover features in apps.
Yeah, but I think the problem was that it wasn't it wasn't tactile. Somebody wrote that the Elgato Stream Deck is such a popular device because you have like small LED keys, that you can customize.
Yes.
And I think if they went with that way, having small LED keys to customize for the main screen and for the apps, it would be more successful, because then like the muscle memory is there. When you work on your favorite app, you know where to go. Because the problem with keyboard is that with keyboard, you don't want to look at it. You want to just use your muscle memory to type, to touch type. And that's no pun intended, but that's the thing. That's why I think like a Stream Deck like thing would be more useful, but I'm sure it was more costly or something. But I think this would have been a more successful design.
Yeah, but I think it wasn't possible in 2016 with the design they introduced, because they were optimizing for to be thin.
Yes.
Remember the butterfly keyboard?
Oh man, the keyboard was very bad.
So I don't think they would fit like LED keys there. So yeah, and speaking about design, maybe let's go to the screen.
There is a notch.
There is a notch. There is a notch, and I like it.
Yeah, but the screen is glorious. It's as good as mine on my iPad Pro, because it's 120 hertz. It's with the mini LEDs. Like it's fantastic. The screen is really great.
Yeah, and it will be very very strange to connect this wonderful ProMotion 120 hertz screen to external display when you are in the office or in home office, because like really when you get used to this ProMotion screen, then your external display may seem to be very poor for you.
That's true.
Yeah, and
so, for example, I think if you connect like a display of a gamer, I think gamer displays have 144 hertz.
Yeah, but they have shitty resolution.
That's true. They don't have Retina. Yeah. That's true.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have either the 144 hertz from with a bad resolution, or you have a Retina display like 4K or 5K or 6K, but then it's not ProMotion.
Yes, exactly, and this is truly 2x Retina finally on laptops. Yeah. No more scaling the resolution to Retina, and yeah, that is really cool, and I can't wait to play with those screens.
Yeah, let's see how they look like. But one thing this very beautiful display is missing, and it's worse than my iPad Pro's display, is that fact that I have no notch and I have Face ID, and there is no Face ID on this laptop, and I think it's a shame.
Well, I don't think it was possible with this thin display, because you would have to expand in the other dimension, orthogonal dimension to the screen. But still, the notch is pretty big.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's inside. Like True Tone sensor, camera, maybe some microphone and speaker. I don't know.
Yes, microphone, True Tone, camera, and I think light. So the indicator light. So there are several things there. That's why it's big.
Yeah, but I'd still prefer this than like no notch and thicker bezels at the top.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It really makes sense on the Mac, and kind of it's a design language for something modern. So it's kind of, you see this new MacBook and you see it's new, it's modern.
Yeah, but the thing is the notch is not very disturbing, because it's where the menu is on the Mac. Yes. So it's fine. Like it doesn't go into showing you like different. It doesn't get into your content, because there is menu anyway on the top.
Yeah, probably you don't have maybe some arms that have many menu options, but still the developers have API for this to avoid this area, so it will be fine. And Yeah, I saw another funny tweet that maybe it's a finger. This notch represents middle finger for Johnny Ive design.
Could be. And I think for the same reasons of thinness and stuff, they couldn't squeeze in a proper 4K camera, but they gave us a HD camera.
Yeah, that is true. We have f.2.0 for lenses, full HD camera. It's probably the same that on iMac with M1, but I'm not sure because I wasn't able to verify this information. On the iMac presentation in April, they didn't provide any more details. That is only full HD. But they call it the best camera in the Mac notebook. So probably maybe it's even worse than on iMac. And no center stage, the feature from iPad. So another competition where iPad beats MacBook Pro.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, there's another one. Yeah, center stage. Because they introduced center stage to all the iPads, but they didn't introduce it to the MacBook Pro. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to have a proper Zoom call with a proper quality and a videographer, then just get the iPad.
Let's take a break here.
Okay.
No Office podcast is sponsored by Nozbe Teams, a to-do app for teams that helps achieve them better results. Let's hear what Nozbe customers say about the product.
When we've been around for about 10 years, our business has, and we've been using Nozbe for about 8 of those years. And as we grew, we kind of got to the point where I just couldn't remember everything anymore. I'm pretty organized. I would just kind of keep everything in my head and with Post-it notes and things like that. And it just got to be too much. And so I started looking around for some sort of project management software that could help me set up really a trusted system. But really, I just wanted a system where I could know that I had everything in there. I wasn't going to forget anything. I wasn't going to drop any balls for our clients or miss deadlines.
All right, and we are back. And I remind you that if you sign up for Nozbe Teams directly from our podcast website, you can sign up for a free account. And when you are ready to upgrade to premium, if you select the yearly plan, you will get 3 months for free. So if you ever sign up for Nozbe Teams, do it from No Office website.
Yeah, and you tried so hard to do some good proper slogan for Nozbe Teams, helps teams do great things and all that stuff. It's really hard to find a good slogan because we are a to-do app that helps people really achieve stuff. But I really like this the fact that where we say that it's the fastest way to done in a team.
Yeah.
And but you can have so many more or the simplest way to get to done or all that stuff. And in the future materials, we will be also focusing on the simplicity of Nozbe Teams because compared to Asana or other competitors, our application is much simpler to use. But on the other hand, it's just easier to onboard the whole team because then when you have fewer features but really streamlined, really well done, then the team will use them more often and better. So anyway, that's my digression. Let's focus on our main sponsor, the Apple.
Yeah. So speaking about simplicity, they used to have in MacBook Pro back in 2015 a very simple feature calling MagSafe.
Yes.
It was brilliant. And they are bringing it back. And what's cool about it is that you can also charge via USB-C. So
yeah, and the MagSafe cable also is a USB-C MagSafe cable. Yes. So if it bends or breaks or whatever, then you can just exchange the cable. You don't have to exchange the whole power brick. Because believe me, I have the old 2013 MacBook Pro. The chargers, the MagSafe is great, but it's not really like it doesn't stand the test of time very well, let's say.
Yeah, and this cable is like seems to be very strong.
It's braided cable, so it should last even longer. But still, it's good that you can just replace the cable and that's it. So that's great.
And what I was saying, that you can also charge via USB-C. Okay, for 16-inch model, it's USB-C is not that fast as via this MagSafe cable because of USB power delivery specs. But still, you can have it MacBook Pro in your desk connected via USB-C, because probably at your desk you don't need this MagSafe, and have this MagSafe cable with a charger packed up in your backpack.
And then especially what you should do as a person who works from home, like to have really external monitor anyway. I know it's not 120 hertz, but still you should have it. So when you have, for example, a 27 4K display, and then you use just the Thunderbolt cable directly. So with this Thunderbolt cable, you both feed power to your laptop and feed screen real estate from the laptop to the screen. So, and it's brilliant. Just one cable. And then you can have, for example, and very often these displays have USB-C or Thunderbolt, hub in them. So you can just connect everything to the screen, and just from this screen, just connect with one cable to your MacBook Pro, and you're off for the races. So it's really good.
Yeah, and it's also true for iPad.
Yeah, that's true.
If you use it with external display, which is maybe not perfect, but still possible, and some people, some iPad freaks do that actually. When on the go and you have this MagSafe charger with you, you can actually, like, when you are in the hotel at night, you can connect your MacBook to MagSafe charger, and from the MacBook use port in the MacBook to charge your other devices.
Yeah, especially if you have the latest ones, even the Apple Watch with the USB-C Apple Watch charger. So you can actually use all these ports as not as ports for peripherals, but just ports for charging.
Yes, exactly. I do that with my Apple Watch charging from the iPad, but it's kind of clunky because when I connect this Apple Watch charger to the iPad, iPad needs to be unlocked to start giving the juice to Apple Watch. Yeah, so and I connect. I'm charging the iPad through Magic Keyboard, so I have to open it, unlock with Face ID, then start charging Apple Watch, unclose, and go to sleep. So it's kind of clunky. I hope with MacBook it will just work, because like when MacBook is sleeping, you connect and it should charge, unless it used to with my MacBook Pro from 2016. It used to work that way, so I hope it maintains this this function.
All right, so let's talk about the M1. So I think Apple has finally out-Intel'd Intel. Like they already did with M1, but with M1 Pro and M1 Max, I mean, Intel should be right now really preoccupied, really, really in deep, problems.
Yes. Yeah, they are with this. They are these dogs sitting in the table when there is a fire outside.
Exactly, it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, this is fine.
This is fine.
Yeah, like it was like they announced the name M1 Pro and M1 Max, and it was like, yeah, that was so obvious in retrospective.
Yes.
And the performance is like, I don't even remember how much.
No, it doesn't matter. Like it's just really, really fast. Yeah. So M1 already is just much faster than anything Intel does. And now with M1 Max and M1 Pro and M1 Max, it's just really, really fast. So I think it's like we know that these laptops will last forever, like on battery life, like 10 hours plus, no problem. And they will just deliver performance from these batteries fantastically.
Actually, I would wait with batteries. I would wait for the first reviews because according to Apple, they only gave the battery performance based on video watching. Yeah, and it's not like typical use case because like video watching is it's like the things for video are built into the chips. So it's really low energy task for those computers, and we'll see how they react on everyday work scenario.
No, I remember, man. So Avena's MacBook Pro, the M1, when they tested it, they what they did is they put like a 8K stream or 8K video to render, and the M1 MacBook Pro rendered it in very fast time, and it had still 80 or 70% battery left. The Intel 13-inch MacBook Pro, so in the same enclosure but with Intel processor, i9 or i7, it died. It didn't finish. So I'm sure still that the performance and the battery life will be there.
I'm sure the battery life will be great, but I'm not sure it will be better than M1 because M1 has more efficiency cores than M1 Pro and M1 Max. They have only
but the M1's battery life is ridiculous. So it's like they don't need to do it as ridiculous, but they still.
Like I was saying, it's not like it's M1 can be a little bit better than M1 Pro and M1 Max in battery life.
But still, if you're a pro and you're getting one of these computers, you will be able basically to leave home in the morning without a charger and come back after the whole day of work and still have juice, I think.
Yeah, probably. So, can't wait to find out.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, ridiculous performance. Intel is in trouble, and the good thing is that what they did here is they went, with the same attitude as they did this year with this year's iPhones. So you choose the size, but you can spec it the same way. So, for example, the cameras on my iPhone Pro are the same as on the iPhone Pro Max, the 13 iPhone 13, and it's the same here. You can spec as much as you want the 14-inch as much as the 16-inch. You just choose your size. And the price difference of the sizes is actually not that bad. So you just decide, do I want the bigger one or do I want the smaller one? But I can have as much performance and as much power in all of them.
Yeah, that's really nice what they did, because even that 14-inch has the same amount of ports.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of ports, or connectivity, like they call it during the presentation, there is a lack of 5G connectivity, unfortunately. And it's not a surprise, because we would have seen the signs of it in macOS Monterey if they were supposed to do it. But I think they were maybe not never do it, but I think they will not do it in the near future. To have this, this is the iPad feature.
Yeah, that's why again my iPad is far superior than the MacBook Pro, because I have 5G everywhere. So I am on the line all the time.
Yeah, that is true. That is really a nice feature, and still, iPad is thanks to this, iPad is far superior than those MacBook Pros in those scenarios when you want to work from the restaurant, from the coffee shop, in the train, or maybe not in the plane, but in the train. It is much more superior. Okay, what else? They claim to have a great sound system, even this spatial audio, or how did they call it?
Dolby Atmos things. Spatial audio,
I'm a podcaster, but I'm not an audio engineer, so
yeah.
Yeah,
but of course these are still laptop speakers, so they are better, great, but they're not really, they're just laptop speakers. So
yes,
it's like the same thing that they say, they have the best microphone that they put because of the microphone RI, blah 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 blah. But in the end of the day, you need a proper microphone to record a podcast, and not.
But still, if you like by accident you forgot your microphone, or your microphone is broken, you can still record one episode with this built-in microphone, and it will be fine. Like,
hopefully people will forgive you.
All right, so what?
Yeah. So I'm not getting any of this. So what are you getting? Are you getting anything? Like, what's your story, man?
I'm not sure. I was thinking that I will buy MacBook Pro 16, because my plan was that, okay, the rumors said that the display would be very mini LED, and there are no external displays that are equally good that those built-in MacBook. So I'd say, probably I would use MacBook Pro 16 as my main computer, and like elevate it on my desk in front of me, and just use it. And maybe I have this secondary monitor, which is like only full HD if I need it for some scenarios, or use iPad as my second screen, or use this new feature that is coming to Monterey, universal control, to just use one keyboard and one mouse to connect to manipulate with UI on the iPad and on the MacBook very easily, and switch between them. So it's kind of like a second monitor. But the prices are so high that it wasn't an instant buy decision. And I remember that I used to have this MacBook Pro 15 from 2016, and there was one thing that drove me crazy, and it's connected to, like, one factor of this was a touch bar, and now it's gone. But the problem was that when I put my hands on the keyboard, on the MacBook Pro 15 keyboard, I put it that way that the Apple Watch strap, the Nike one, is exactly on the edge of the MacBook. And when I try to reach with my left hand, like keys like 1, 2, 3, or escape or Q, like it just stops my hand, because Apple Watch is on the edge of the of this MacBook. So it's kind of like this form factor is exactly like it's not for the size of my hands, like exactly in the point that is the worst.
Well, what you can do is you get a loop strap. When it's a loop strap, it should be easier because it's thinner.
Yes, and I can move my hands a little bit higher, so I can rest my Apple Watch strap on the MacBook, but still it has this metal thing here, so I don't want to scratch my MacBook.
Now again, if you get a loop strap, you don't have that problem.
Yeah, so you're saying I should get a loop strap.
You should try it, because I just got one just to try it out, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. Maybe I do. I don't know. I just want to go to Apple reseller store and just play with both of the sizes and see actually if I really need the size of MacBook Pro 16 or 14 is good enough. And I was thinking that I will wait to test this universal control feature of macOS Monterey, which is coming according to Apple this fall, not in the first version of public version of macOS Monterey, and see if I can use it with MacBook plus my iMac, which has actually gorgeous screen, and via this universal control, use it like as additional space for stuff. So like heavy stuff I will run on the MacBook, and those more casual stuff like notes, etc., I will have on my iMac screen when I'm working at home. And that way I could buy this smaller MacBook Pro 14-inch.
But then you will have the whole thing of having two Macs to manage. So having to manage the MacBook Pro and the iMac. I never liked that setup that you have to manage two computers, because things get out of sync. If you work too long on one computer, then not everything is synced to the other.
I need to verify this, but yeah, actually we use Dropbox. Desktop is synced via iCloud. Like Nozbe Teams tasks are synced. That's not a problem. What may be a problem? Some maybe GitHub local repositories, etc.
No, I mean it's not that. It's like you think you just use 5 services, but you use more, and then you use more apps, and then like when these apps are not the same on both computers, it's like all these people who are trying to do the multi iPad lifestyle. Okay, so I think it's possible. I think when you're persistent, that's great, but I wouldn't want to do that. I want to have one iPad. This way, it works. Like it has everything I need. It has everything downloaded that I need. It just works the way I need. And I have also one desktop. I have the iMac.
Yeah.
So for me, the option would be either to wait for the next year's iMac Pro, or just get the current M1 iMac, and that's it, and be done with it for now. So I don't know that. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not getting these MacBook Pros. But out of curiosity, how much storage space would you get?
I think 1 terabyte.
So I think when you order these now, I would go for 2 terabytes, because like I have right now on my iMac, I have 500 gigabytes SSD, which is not enough. So I plugged 2 terabyte SSD to it via USB 3.0, and 1 tera is already occupied by Dropbox and photos in high resolution.
Yeah, but I don't have photos on my Mac. I manage photos directly from my iPad.
Yeah, but I want to have a local copy of the photos.
Yeah.
That's why
that is true. I should have it as well.
Yeah, so that's why I don't want to rely just on the iCloud. So that's why I want to have high-res resolutions of all the photos locally. That's why I think for this day and age, with things that we have, we should go with either this, or maybe the other. If you want to save money and have more clunky setup, you can get like the 500 gigabytes version, and then have SSD externally. But for the laptop, it's not really nice. So for me, I would get a 2 terabyte version if I got one of these. That's why I'm kind of complaining that the 2 terabyte version is pretty expensive already.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, I would prefer to have 32 gigabytes of RAM to future-proof this laptop than this 2 terabyte, because you can always add this external SSD, and you can have it in your home office. You can have it connected to some hub, and when you connect your MacBook to it, it will back up. So yeah, I would probably go with this. I need to just play with it in the store and see if 14-inch is if all the apps I use fits there and it fits to my workflow. But I think it will, because like the screen is much bigger, and I remember I was very satisfied with the MacBook Adorable, like 12-inch. Yeah, and it was like, of course, like 16-inch would be more ergonomic, friendly to use when, for example, traveling, because you have a bigger screen. But on the other side, it's more clunky, and I didn't like typing on its keyboard. Because of this Apple Watch thing. So yeah, I will say I need to play with it. and wait for this universal controller to be released on macOS Monterey and test it, because actually my iMac from 2015 is the last one that is supported, that supports this universal control, so I will be able to test it if it's reliable actually. Yeah?
No, my iMac is 2014 model, so it doesn't. It no longer gets the Monterey upgrade, so that's why I'm considering getting the new smaller.
Yeah, just get the new one. Like I would get an iMac if I knew that iPad would be enough for me for traveling, but it's not. Fortunately, it's very close, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's always very close. Every year it's very close, but I always find things that, oh man, it will be so much easier with the MacBook.
Yeah, I can understand that. Like in my case, all my workflows work perfectly on the iPad, so that's why.
Like you are the CEO, so you can always delegate more stuff.
That's correct. I will not deny it, but on the other hand, I'm really productive on the iPad. That's why the iMac is just this additional computer, additional canvas, and even if it's 24.5 inch instead of 27, it's still pretty big. So it's pretty good enough.
Yeah. So what configuration of iMac are you considering? Like 2 terabytes and 16
Yes,
gigs?
exactly. So 2 terabytes and 16 gigabytes of RAM, of course. So this way it would cost me to $2,549 in American dollars, which is just $350 less than the comparable 14-inch MacBook Pro. So slightly slower than the MacBook Pro, but still a very nice desktop. So yeah, the thing is that it should be cheaper. Like the 2 terabyte storage should be cheaper. Like I'm really Apple is really pushing this model.
Yeah, on the storage and on the RAM. Yeah, like they always it's a Tim Cook thing. If they can charge you even $50 or $100 more, they always will, and you will always.
Yeah, but #courage, like they didn't go with the 8 gigabytes of RAM on the MacBook Pros, which is good, because I was afraid they would really nickel and dime, because like the entry level is 16 gigabytes, which is good. Like it's a good entry level.
Yeah, that is true.
But you're right. Like to future-proof it, I would also encourage everyone who wants the MacBook Pro to get the 32 gigabytes of RAM version.
Yeah. Okay, and what color would you buy?
Violet.
Purple. Violet, like purple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at me.
So purple. It's a shame it's not there is no purple HomePod Mini.
Exactly. Yeah.
Such an opportunity for Apple to sell additional 2 HomePods for.
I wonder if, for example, in spring they will not introduce MacBook Pros with colors as well.
MacBook Pros, I don't think so.
Yeah, right. They want to just give them silver or
maybe they will introduce
gray.
More colors to HomePod Mini, because these three colors they added, they match some colors from iMac, but not all, like not purple, for example. But actually about colors on MacBook Pros, yes, I would also like to have it in the color, like cool color, not a silver or space gray. But actually René Ritchie made a good point that this is a machine for pro and for the people who work with videos, photos, and the color reproduction must be as best as possible. And if you have opened this MacBook and you have the keyboard is black, but all the unibody case would be red, it would reflect some light and it would mess up the color reproduction.
Okay,
so it actually makes sense.
The pros get the dull colors. All right.
Yeah, because they can have some colors on iPhone or the iPad, because only the back of the device is color. On MacBook, it's not the case.
Yeah, that's true.
Its case has color, actually. Yeah. Yeah. So that's my plan. I'm just waiting to play with it and see this universal.
So we'll have an update in the next episode of No Office Podcast. Okay, so that was great. Really, I'm happy Apple delivered. I'm happy Apple delivered on the promise of listening to the users, of giving us ports, giving the users ports, giving the users like what they really need to get work done. And I'm really not shocked anymore. I'm just really amazed how much speed and power they can get with so much, with so few watts with these processors. So it's just amazing what they achieved, and really it's bad to be Intel right now.
Yeah. Okay, so let's wrap up this episode, and thanks for listening. So Michael, tell us, what day is tomorrow?
Tomorrow is Friday. It's Friday.
Yes, Friday, so make it Mighty Friday. Do your weekly review, plan priorities for next week, learn something new, and have a great weekend. And if you want to support us, so please leave us a review on Apple Podcast. So that's it for today. Say goodbye, Michael.
Goodbye. Thanks everyone for listening, and stay tuned for the next one. The No Office podcast is just getting started, and we'll have more No Office topics very soon.
This episode has not been created in the office, because in Nozbe, there is no office. Your hosts were Michael Stawinski and Rafal Sobolewski. All the links and show notes you can find on nooffice.fm/28. Sign up for a free account in Nozbe Teams and invite your team members to support us. Audio version, visual identification, and video version produced by Marco Couto. Proofreading Magda Błaszczyk. Marketing and promotion Ewelina Przywara. The whole production process has been coordinated in a project in a Nozbe Teams app. Control is good, but trust and transparency are so much better. Thank you, and see you in 2 weeks. Remember to have a Mighty Friday.
Don't cram 20 people on Zoom.
Fluorescent lighted office all day long. You probably are going to work from home.